Hello, this is Generic Fool's Test. Well, I am decided to stream now. I finished both my psychiatrist and psychologist appointments, and I had lunch with my parents and a number of other things. Sorry I didn't stream more today, and I'm also sorry for ending the session I heard earlier. Like the earlier session much earlier than I intended. My father apparently had entered my house. I was doing stuff. And I got sort of surprised because all of a sudden I heard my father's voice when I didn't even know he was in my house. Which, can be sort of a jump scare when you think you're all alone. And then all of a sudden you hear the sound of somebody near you. I don't know if my father's voice is in actually got recorded or if you heard it, but yeah, he was there. Either way, I decided that I was thinking about what type of game I should do, but then I just decided that there's probably not enough time to fully get into a game, and I don't want to play too late because you know not good. Oh wait, I forgot. It's 11 per person, and I told them that they should go get proper sleep. Well, one, school's gonna probably start up again soon, so that would be good to make sure that they get proper rest or get back into a sleep schedule. Hi! I was just talking about how you need to adapt a proper sleep schedule. And because school might start again soon. And you don't want to be dead tired and inattentive at school. I mean, I have to also get back to work, and I need to wake up at like 3 a.m. due to the various medications I need to take for work. So let's be honest here. Both of us are just as much as I am saying it to you. I also need to tell myself basically go to bed or stop streaming, stop struggling, just go to bed, Adam. Yes. Except since it's much later for you, I can just basically say like no, no, you person, you go to bed. But really, it's like, excuse me, Mister Hypocrite, shouldn't you be following your own advice? But yeah, I'm just gonna probably stream for like an hour or two. But I don't know. Yes, obviously. Don't you know? Never admit your own faults. Always blame someone else. It's not my fault that I'm staying up too late. I'm blaming the person who's supposedly younger than me and saying that it's their fault. Don't you know I'm blameless? It's clearly your fault, person, even though you're in another continent and you're in a completely different time zone. Well, Moon is right. You should be going to bed. And now Moon is pink. Shouldn't you actually since both of you are in the UK, right? Shouldn't both of you be going to bed? It's like 11 p.m. for you, according to my world clock I have. Because you're both going to have to start going to school again soon. Just like I'm going to have to start going to work again soon. I hate waking up at 3 a.m. I hate it. I hate it so much. However, my boss has to show up at work at 1 a.m. So, at least it's not that. My boss loves his job, being a baker. I just mostly do manual labor. By the way, which of the ice creams that I showed you earlier do you think were better? Like the marmalade one at the end, the the baked beans, Oh, so you're saying you wouldn't enjoy marmalade, um, the peanut butter, or the Jaffa cakes? Really? You don't? What's you got wrong with Jaffa cake? I'm probably, as an American, I'm probably mispronouncing Jaffa cake. You know, why don't they make like something like a famous biscuit, like that they use? Like they could just take an ice cream and base it off one of your tea biscuits. That insert name of tea biscuit you like like a hobnob. Just take a hobnob and put it into ice cream, and it would totally be very good. I mean, or maybe it's just an Americanism where I think that basically I like way something tastes, so shove it into something else. I mean, do you like hobnobs? I don't know. I'm aware of a few British things. Yes, which you have to understand also as an American. Like hearing the term digestive and saying that to most Americans I'm aware of digestive biscuits, but to saying that to most Americans and they'll go like, why would you want to put medication in an ice cream? When I hear digestive, it's like, wait a second, is that some kind of medication to help you with stomach problems? That sounds like a bad idea. It's really dangerous to mix medication and food. It's like, no, it's a type of biscuit. Oh, you mean the things you put with gravy? No, 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 no. It's a cookie. It's a type of cookie that you eat with tea. It's a tea biscuit. Oh, okay. It's just sort of amusing. And because I know some stuff about the UK, it's like I can at least laugh on the sidelines. Like, yeah. I guess you have no interest in watching what was left of the ice cream video. But, also, I guess I'll show something else. Have you ever had American Pop Tarts? Or tried them? Ah, oftentimes you'll see online people talking about toasting them or eating them raw, but some of them are meant to be frozen. Did you know that? Like you just leave them in the freezer and then you eat them on a hot day. Like I guess I'll try to see. I'll try to see the correct ones. Oh, well, it's the ones you're supposed to eat cold are like very, very specific. Like there's an ice cream sundae Pop Tart, which that one you can eat cold, and it's fine. But keep in mind, you have to understand that for a lot, Pop Tarts are not meant as a high end thing. It's just that a lot of people. I mean, I guess you're younger than me and you're still in school, so for you, that this might. As somebody who's not in college, doesn't have. Well, there's probably something that for you is deeply nostalgic, which when you grow up, it will be something that people will look down on and basically go like, "Oh, look at that kitty shit" or something like that. But as an adult, you know, your parents get Pop Tarts because it's quick. They don't really need to do anything. If you have time, you can put it in the toaster to make it hot. If not, you can just take it and leave. It's sort of like a low income, or well, correction, there are generic brands of Pop Tarts, but sort of a low income thing to take and then run off. I guess I'm going to answer Americanisms, as I said, the stream of consciousness stream. I mean, I also have animals if you wish to talk about them too. Like, I can talk about a cute one, or I can talk about one that's sort of creepy looking but is interesting and kind of weird. Yeah, I think you want me to talk about the cute one. Have you heard of pygmy hippos? This is a pygmy hippo. This is an adult and that's the baby. Isn't that just adorable? Why is it showing the text? Wait, why did it show text? I'm sorry, I meant to show cute pictures, not all of a sudden. Oh! Yeah, they're small. In 1 second, I'll just click here and.
Wait, don't.
So. Okay, pygmy. There we go, pygmy hippo. So, here's a baby pygmy hippo at a zoo.
So we are in the Hippo House at ZSL Whipsnade Zoo, where you can find our newest addition to the proud parents of Flora and Tapon, our pygmy hippos. So yeah, we were anticipating this birth for a little while. We weren't quite sure whether or not it was going to be a birth on Christmas Day or not. She did hold out on us, Flora, so then we came in on Boxing Day and 5 o'clock hit in the afternoon and out popped a brilliant little male calf. So mum and calf are doing really well. She's an experienced mum. It's her 3rd calf now, so she knew exactly what she was doing. She would position herself correctly so that the calf could then go in for suckling and feeding. Calf took a little while to get used to it, but with a lot of determination, he managed to get there, and as you can see, he's doing really, really well. It's a brilliant asset for ZSL and the captive population of pygmy hippos in general. Not only have we got a healthy calf, but he is a male. Males are quite rare to have in captive populations. So his personality is starting to develop. He's becoming a lot more confident and a bit more inquisitive around his areas, and he's spending a little bit more time away from mum, just investigating his surroundings. So he'll stay with mum for quite a while yet, until he gets a bit bigger. At the moment he's around sort of 10 kilos. By the time he gets to his dad size Tapon, Tapon's about 280 kilos, so he's still got a little way to go yet. But give him a few years, I'm sure he'll get there. Yeah, pygmy hippos are quite endangered in the wild,
Okay,
a lot down to like deforestation.
It's like, now it's getting to the depressing part, like, oh yes, this animal is like in danger of going extinct. Yes, totally. I don't want to hear about little baby hippo guy going, like, leaving. But yeah, there's a number of videos about the cute little guy. Like Penelope. Funny detail. Okay, since I'm trying to take your mind off of the other thing. There's something that almost all mammals have called the mammalian swimming reflex. It makes it so that most mammals, even if they might not be exposed to water or normally exposed to water, they can swim if you put them in the water. One of the examples of animals that do not have this reflex, that's a mammal, and cannot swim, are hippopotamus. Hippos, an animal which spend most of their life in the water, cannot swim. Doesn't that sound funny? Yeah. You see, what happens is hippos aren't actually fatty. They're basically this solid blob of muscle and very dense bone. So what happens is, when they go in the water, they sink all the way down to the bottom. And rather than swimming, they literally gallop across the bottom of the water. And whenever they need to breathe, they literally jump up so that their nose can pop up above the water and, take a deep breath and then just sink back down. Oh yeah, but also, well, no, I won't say much about hippos. Pygmy hippos are adorable. Stay away from the regular hippos. They are a thing. Yeah. But ignore that. Look at this cute little guy. Girl. This cute little girl. Oh my god, I misgendered her. I'm gonna get canceled. Look at her little mane. And the mom's bug eyes like, oh. Being a sassy little girl. Look at the little kisses. I don't know. The little one seems to be able to swim, but you know, once you become an adult, you're no longer buoyant enough to really float. Speaking of, you'd think that because a hippopotamus can't swim, that elephants also can't swim. Not true. Elephants are actually really good swimmers. Yes, terrorize that leaf. Do it. Show it who's boss. Alright, well, I think that's enough of the little baby hippos. So, other neat thing, not necessarily cute, but false killer whales. I mean, what do you think about that face? On a complete opposite end of the spectrum, you know, it's like an orca, except it's skinnier and it doesn't have the white spotches. They are sort of interesting. First off, like regular killer whales, they're not actually whales. They're dolphins. That's right. The killer whale is in fact just a really big dolphin. Checking my messages. One second. A family friend works at an animal sanctuary, so I'm able to go to see the little piggies and cows at the animal sanctuary on Sunday. I'll let you know if it's awesome or if it's a nightmare. But yeah, I don't know. They're kind of interesting because they are very intelligent, but they are also like they sometimes eat other dolphins, which is also weird because they also make friends with other dolphins. So there's literally a video on YouTube of them, like, it's a very tense scene and it looks like it's going to turn into something dramatic and scary because you see a pod of or a group of dolphins escaping these false killer whales, and it's just scared because they're running for their life because they think they're going to get eaten, and the false killer whales are clearly intending to try and eat them. And then after like a few minutes, suddenly the energy completely changes. And then they start playing with each other because the false killer whales are like, oh, wait a second, those are my friends. Hell, I know you. You're not food. And then they just start playing. And it's weird because they can apparently interbreed with other dolphins that they sometimes eat. Which is, kind of, strange. Let's see if I can find it. False. Well, not that particular video. A false killer whale.
Today on Animal Fact Files, we're discussing false killer whales. To look at a false killer whale beside their namesake, one might question how false killer whales got their common name. They don't look much like killer whales on the outside, but on the inside, they have a skull similar to their killer whale cousin. So that's where the name came from. In fact, until the mid-1900s, false killer whales were believed to be extinct. They were only known from their skulls and other bone fragments. When they were scientifically named, the people naming them had never seen one alive. Today, it's known that false killer whales live in tropical and temperate oceans throughout the world. They spend most of their time in waters deeper than 3,300 feet. False killer whales themselves can dive over 6,500 feet down and hold their breath for nearly 20 minutes. Though they have the common name whale, they're also considered dolphins. Of course, if you'll recall from our killer whale episode, all dolphins are also whales, so the name still works. False killer whales have distinct elbow-like bends in their flippers, which helps set them apart from other cetaceans. Males are larger than females. The boys range in size from 13 to 20 feet, while the girls range from 10 to 16 feet. They live in groups called pods of just a handful to over 100 members.
That's kind of silly to say because most dolphins and whales that live in communal groups are called pods. Although orcas or killer whales, different pods may have different cultures. By cultures, I mean the way they hunt and the food that they go after. Just because something's a killer whale does not mean it eats the same thing as a different pod. Some pods of killer whales eat fish exclusively. Others have learned to eat shellfish. And some literally hunt great white sharks. Which, that probably sounds crazy to you because, the great white shark is the great biggie man, and there are people who have debates between who is better, killer whales or orca or great white sharks. And the answer is orcas kill great whites just so often. Anytime there's basically a meeting. Most of the time the shark is basically like, oh, what's that big thing over there? And because it's a curious creature, it'll swim nearby and go, oh, hey, are you a friend? And then all of a sudden it gets jumped by a bunch of orcas. Basically what the orcas do is that they will ram it in the side, which is sort of like giving it a sucker punch, and it's like, oh my god, what the heck, what's going on? They will grab the fin of the killer whale, flip it upside down, because if you don't know, that's what induces catatonic mobility, which is basically the shark enters a state in which it doesn't really react to anything. And so that means that it won't respond or fight back while the orcas eat it. And then the orcas just eat its liver and then just let the whole thing drop. Also, now that I realized it, Moon actually followed the advice and Moon has left. Moon did go to bed. I should... Oh, wait, there's somebody else here. So remember not to stay up too late. Also, not all seals are really cute, by the way. Not to say that they're ugly, but some seals are like really adorable. And then there's
Deep, below the freezing cold waters of
guy.
Antarctica, lurks a terrifying, prehistoric-looking predator waiting for its next taste of blood. It glides through the ocean with a long and powerful body, measuring more than 3 meters. It sports a sleek black and gray spotted coat. It flaunts a large, almost reptilian head. This may be the last thing a penguin will ever see, or the creature they never saw coming. You can try to run or swim away, but you can't hide. This is the leopard seal.
Don't ever try petting one of those things. It is highly aggressive.
Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animal Logic. The leopard seal, also known as Hydrurga leptonix, lives a solitary life in some of the most remote and frigid locations in the world. Leopard seals are known for their love of penguins, but it's hard for them to share their love. No matter what your
They love the taste of their snapping their necks and of eating them in front of their friends. Few get to experience this love.
interests are, today's episode sponsor, Squarespace, can help you create a website to show off
Very
your
Mr.
work
Lee
and let the
say,
world know
"Oh, yes,
about
they
it.
love penguins."
Squarespace is the
You know, they love penguins just like the British love cod. Tasty, tasty cod.
all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website,
sorry, I know you're
engage
trying to
with your
start a
audience,
business person,
and
but
sell
I'm
at
skipping
first
this ad.
purchase of a
You'll
website
have to
or
look at
domain.
Squarespace on your own.
Start your passion project today. Thanks, Squarespace. The majority of the leopard seal's population lives south of the Antarctic Convergence, in the subantarctic islands and Antarctica, between
never get your
50
small
and
stardom
80
started.
degrees south. They spend their days lounging on the pack ice and hunting in the frigid waters. They are the third largest type of seal in the world. Only elephant seals and walruses are larger. But leopard seals are much, much scarier. Adult male leopard seals can weigh up to 450 kilograms, and adult females are even larger, close to 600 kilograms. That's almost as heavy as a male Kodiak bear. They make their namesake look tiny. Leopard seals eat a wide variety.
Also, leopard seals have killed people. It's not often, but you need to be highly careful around them.
Of foods,
They're also
using
so
their
stunning.
wide, gaping mouths and massive jaws to get the job done. In the winter, their most important food is krill, because it is widely available to them. They even have special grooved back molars that lock together and allow them to filter krill out of the water. They also eat fish and cephalopods, like squid. But like their feline namesakes, leopard seals are fierce predators. They have a reputation as one of the deadliest predators in the ocean. Plus, they are the only type of seals to feed on warm-blooded prey. This prey includes penguins and even other seals. In order to catch their prey, leopard
There's a
seals
reason why this animal is often portrayed as a villain in cute animal stories.
employ several different hunting tactics. One of these is the wait and rush tactic. Catching their prey off guard, the leopard seal pounces. They may also
wanna
come
watch
up
this,
beneath
tell
an
me
animal
also.
resting on the water's surface
But
and
find
snatch
it
them in their jaws. As for other tactics, there's stalking, where the leopard seal hides beneath the water with only its nostrils exposed. It waits at the edge of a pool and then pounces when the time is right. And finally, there's open hunting, where the leopard seal makes no attempt to conceal itself.
Very
Once their
likely.
prey is caught, eating it presents its own challenges. One, they can't hold their prey with their fins. And two, they don't have shearing teeth like lions to cut their prey into bite-sized pieces. Instead, leopard seals must thrash and shake their
I'm going to stop now because I realize, like, yeah, this is a cool animal. And I'm like, I don't think person wants to see this leopard seal break apart a penguin or seal. I'm sorry about that. Autism taking effect. Yeah, sorry about that. I sort of realized things like, oh, I love learning about animals, and it's like, for me, I can literally go from being like, look at this cute little thing here, to all of a sudden, like, going like, hey, look at this, this is what happens in real life. And then I'm just watching just messed up stuff. Okay, well, not, for me, it's in an academic sense, not like, I do not derive pleasure from watching things suffer, even if I do know it's a circle of life. So, want to learn about 3 very famous traditional New Orleans style cuisine foods? Just to change the subject from that. So, have you heard of gumbo? Yes, well, it's a type of stew. It's really flavorful. There are 3 dishes in New Orleans, which are, well, New Orleans is in Louisiana, that are sort of traditional. They use essentially the same ingredients, but the difference is basically whether you put rice in it, and for the other 2, I don't know what the difference is. And that is gumbo, which is by far the most famous of the 3. Etouffee, which is the rice, I think, is mixed. What? I didn't mean to click that. And then it's, oh yeah, I think I've mentioned gumbo and etouffee to you before. And then there's jambalaya, which is you mix the rice with the rice is cooked in with the rest of the ingredients. So, oh god, that's a long time, but I guess I'll play this so you can see it.
How we doing, folks? Welcome to Basics with Babish. This isn't how I normally do the beginning of the show, but we have a special guest with us here today. Isaac Toups of Toups Meadery, Toups South. Did I get them both right?
You got them both right.
And he's here today to teach us about Creole cuisine.
Cajun
cuisine. I decided to put my diet aside today.
Right.
We're going hard.
Yeah, me too.
So we're making rions, we're making jambalaya,
Jambalaya,
we're making
dirty rice, and chicken and sausage gumbo, right?
I was just spent a week in New Orleans, and now you brought a little bit back for me.
That's right.
Because I already miss it. It's only been 2 days.
I don't miss the heat.
Oh God, it was soupy down.
Louisiana has a lot of really good food, but it is a swamp in the south. So it gets humid and it gets really goddamn hot. So you don't want to go into summer. If you go into summer, you're gonna die. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. Well, actually, no, I don't think you're interested in making it. It's much better to watch a video where someone actually tries it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just like playing this, and then I realized, like, I don't think person wants to cook, and I don't think, not to say I don't think you do, I just don't think you have much interest in it from when I think you've talked in the past. Also, this is like a more advanced dish. So let's see, I guess. I always go to Jolly. I'm sorry for always going to Jolly, but they're, I guess, as proper English gentlemen, I'm half jokingly saying that. Let's see, like, they can phrase things in a way where, you'll get it. Because, they sometimes make references to stuff that's someone from the UK would get. Because sometimes with certain American foods, really, there's no UK equivalent. Like, as I mentioned with the digestive earlier, like, actually, I think in some cultures around here, they use the term for like an alcoholic beverage after like a meal. Or I may be mixing that with something else. So, you know, it just gets confusing. But either way. Don't quote me on that. One of the confusing parts about being an American is that basically America is like a country. I mean, like a country is like Europe in terms that each state is basically, it's like a country. There are some states which have a lot of similarities in terms of culture and other stuff, and then there are some states and there's some places which are more isolated, and their cultures and their sayings are just completely different. Barbecue and chili are two very good examples of foods that represent this. Depending on where you are in the country, beans is fine to put in chili. And depending on where you are, putting beans in chili is an abomination and you deserve to be arrested. And then, you know, some people like it, like when they're making American style, like barbecue, it's like, no, you're not allowed to put a sauce in there. Don't put sauce on it while it's cooking or afterwards. And in other places, like, no, you have to put the sauce on there. It has to be slathered in sauce. As I said, it gets a bit confusing. And then sometimes there are pedantic things where it's just like, hey, these two things look the same. What's the difference? And then it's just like, well, you see, it's this and that. And it's like, so the only difference is one's made here and the other one's made there. It's more complicated than that. It's like, no, it's not. Like if you look at state hot dogs, most states have hot dogs which are the exact same thing. There are a few, like the Garden Dog from Chicago, which are really different and do, you know, warrant saying like, yes, you truly are a unique form of hot dog. And others are just like, this hot dog, you don't put mustard on it. Or you put ketchup on it. And then other people are like, this hot dog, if you put ketchup on it, we're going to kill you. So, you know, as I said, like, depending on... And then here's the other thing. In some of these places where, you know, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill you if you put ketchup on this. You find out that what they do to cook the hot dog is they put them in this water which has had ketchup added to it so that it marinates and adds it. It's how you make, I think, a dirty water dog, which is called dirty water because, you know, they literally added a little bit of ketchup and they added a little bit of seasonings to it. So the water is seasoned. But if you don't know that and look in, it's like, oh my God, look at that dirty water. But yeah. Oh wait, I already opened that one. So, well, you know, it's one of those, first of all, it's a hot dog. Let's not pretend that this is fine dining. You know, it's basically, you know, they're just seasoning it in the water. It's not bad, but normally when you're having a hot dog here in America, it's because you're going to a special event, or, you know, you might be getting one after visiting a museum, or something along those lines. So the memory associated with the hot dog might be more important. But yeah, time for me to stop yammering about American history and show you a little bit about Louisiana food.
Hi, I'm Josh.
I'm Ollie.
And today we've come all the way to New Orleans to try some authentic...
Some people say also with New Orleans, I'm sorry to once again immediately stop it. Some people say it's New Orleans is how it's pronounced. Other people say you sound like a goddamn tourist by saying that. It's New Orleans. And then, you know, other people. The point is, in America, you can have a number of people say, oh, yes, this is the one way you're supposed to say it. Then you'll have another entirely different group of people say, no, that's not right. Yes, you are. I have to apologize now for calling you out earlier, person, for not going to bed. While Moon was being a good student and going to bed. You're both bad students, and I'm unfortunately being a bad enabler. But yes, I'm showing New Orleans cuisine, soul foods specifically. After this, I'll play the dessert video because that probably would be more towards your liking.
Authentic Louisiana comfort food. Apparently here they have the Queen of Gumbo. Her Majesty.
Welcome to Dizzy's.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Thank you so much. Very well. He just said you're the Queen of Louisiana comfort food. Is that right? This is what we in the presence.
To be young, or you try to hide from your parents.
Royalty?
Pretty much.
We love royalty.
Now I just need to start yelling like, hey, they're awake! Get them! Yeah. They could also just be trying to teach you a lesson. So, just to say, like, you'll see, it seems cool to you right now, but then you'll see how bad you feel later on. It's kind of like the parents who are like, yeah, sure, eat that entire pint of ice cream in one sitting. And then, the kids are like, yeah, best parents ever. Then after eating an entire pint of ice cream by themselves, they're like, well, just... And then they got sick. You'd be surprised how people get that treatment. There are adults in America who you'll eat an entire pint, get sick, and then go like, oh, my stomach. One thing you learn when you become quote-unquote become an adult is that there are a lot of adults that act like children. And there's a lot of stuff that people tell children, or, pre-adults, I guess I'll put it. Because if I say teens, that might sound a little weird for me. But, who, we make it sound like, oh, being an adult is excellent. You can do whatever you want. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but you also need to live with the consequences of whatever you do. You can not go to your job and, just sit at home and watch videos all day. You can do that. You're going to lose your job, and then you're going to, have a very hard time getting a new job. Or, if you're in college. Being an adult sucks. There are a few things in which being an adult does not suck, but due to all the responsibilities that you gain, it's not good. It's not a fun thing. Adults just like, messing with kids by acting like we have a lot more freedom than we do. But either way. Yeah.
Pretty much. This is...
Oh, and one other thing. When you're a kid, it seems to take forever for years to go by. Like, oh my God, it took so long to, reach the age of like 15. And then, okay, I'm 20 now. Oh my God, what the hell? Why am I 40? Or like, after college, you start trying to get a job, then you go to your job, and then all of a sudden it's just year after year after year after year, which is why it can be dangerous to set something aside. Because you can get so stuck in your pattern of, You know, wake up, go to bed, go to work. Or wake up, go to work, go to bed. Do that over and over and over again. And then on weekends, you're just like, I want to sleep. Let me sleep. And then you just sort of like, you know, collapse. And then especially with nowadays where everything's more expensive and you need to work more time, you don't have the chance to meet anyone. Okay, well, let's not talk about this. We're supposed to talk about fun topics like food. Okay, ignore that stuff unless it would motivate you to try and... Okay, here's my advice as an adult. You want if you're not an adult currently, or not a legal adult rather, you want to try to enjoy your time as much as you can, but at the same time you want to make sure you take your classes seriously. If a class like math is important because, you know, being able to perform math on your own. Don't get me wrong, there's some forms of math which you will probably never use outside of, you know, doing a job related to that. Statistics is a good example of that. Like, you don't really need to learn statistics unless you're being a statistician, in which case it's very important. It's try to enjoy your time that you have, well, as you know, for not being adult while you can, but don't only just have fun. Try to also prepare yourself by learning stuff that you can or could be helpful in the future. And ask your parents if they can help you figure out, if they help you figure out the value of money. Because so many, at least in America, we tend to be like, no, we have to protect you. We have to make sure that you're not traumatized by anything. And we need to make sure that you just have fun and you're not stressed out. Until you're, sorry, something hit my window. Until you're 18. Once you're 18, we don't care. You could go die. What? You're an adult now. You should know how to do everything. It's like, but we never learned in school how to, you know, do taxes or do all that other stuff. But, and then it's just like, well, you're an adult now. We don't need to care anymore. Which is why there's a number of jaded people who suddenly went from being like, oh my God, the world is full of sunshine, happiness, and rainbows, to all of a sudden they get hit by the bus of life, and it's like, no one cares. You're no longer a child. Grow up. I should stop the nihilism and just focus on the two nice British guys. I'm sorry. Why am I so depressing?
A fourth generation Creole family, so we got a lot of good food here that you can try out today.
This is an official plaque that
It
says
is.
Culinary Queen of New Orleans.
You guys are in for a treat. We actually have an item today that's not normally on the menu. It's called the 7-Ward Pork Chop. It is a grilled pork chop with oyster dressing on top. So we got a lot of stuff.
Oh, we got a lot of food.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
Your
would love
Majesty.
to. This is what they're most famous for, right? The gumbo. Can I just ask really quickly, what is gumbo?
Gumbo is like a soup. There's different versions of it, but we do a filet gumbo. And it has meat in it, pork sausage, ham, but it also has seafood in it.
Oh,
Shrimp
wow.
and crab. The gumbo has been around about 75 years.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much. I guess you want to try and get a bunch of different
I know.
stuff. Oh my gosh.
Question, do you actually like this type of stuff? Like, or would you rather me play a different video? Because they also do stuff like the desserts of Louisiana, which might be more interesting. Because if I remember correctly, you're both sort of picky eaters. And you know, if I'm showing you something which is not terribly interesting, you know, that would be there. Like, for example, there's the famous beignet, which is, yeah, alright. Let's see if I can find it then. Southern desserts for the first time. because I assume that's something that would be more interesting to you. For me, I'm a very savory kind of guy.
Hi, I'm Josh.
I'm Ollie.
And today we're going to the most famous cafe in all of New Orleans to try something called Baynets. There's a G in there somewhere.
Okay, Bagnet.
Well, sorry about that. Gumbo can be very tasty, but sometimes trying to eat a food that reminds you of an unpleasant experience can be very difficult. And I'm not going to try to argue with that, but yeah.
I think it's silent. Oh no. And after that,
Baynets.
we're also going to try some of the most famous southern sweet treats and desserts. I've got a sweet tooth. I'm very excited.
I had sweet teeth, but I had to get them all removed.
Okay.
So these bayonets, are they an old classic from New Orleans?
Apparently a very old classic. I think a little bit of French influence.
So they're from Old Orleans?
Our first stop is apparently the original coffee stand, Café du Monde. I think this is maybe the most famous spot in New Orleans. Everyone that I talked to before we came here said, you have to come to Café du Monde.
And this place is pumping.
Oh my gosh, how do we say that?
Beignet.
Beignet.
Yeah, beignet. And you know what? It's just coming out, so that's the best time to enjoy.
Yeah, okay, we should have it fresh. Thank you so much. Look at this. Oh,
Whoa.
it's hot. Sugar's almost like stuck to it as well.
Oh my God.
Oh, it feels somewhere in between like a croissant and a donut.
All right, let's give it a go.
Confused. Cheers.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Oh.
Wow. You know what? It's vaguely reminiscent of like a traditional Korean donut. Like really fluffy.
It's basic, right?
It's very basic,
It's,
and it
it's
looks
almost
very
like
basic.
bread dough that's been deep fried.
Yeah.
Without the sugar, it really wouldn't be that sweet at all.
Describing it that way makes it sound bland, but it's not bland
Not
at
bland
all.
at all.
I can see how that's famous.
It's good, right?
So good.
It's much denser than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's dense.
You know, like the inside. Ooh. You're right, it's like a deep fried baguette.
Yeah, there is. I mean, something very French here.
With sugar on top. It really is the definition of food that doesn't travel well. You got to get it out of the fryer, eat it when it's hot. If you walked a couple of blocks, not only would you be covered in icing sugar, the glitter of the culinary world, but they'd be cold.
New Orleans is also famous for quite a few other desserts. Some of them, I think, specifically originated here and have made it around the South,
Okay.
including the thing we're going to try next, which is called Banana Fosters.
That sounds like a horrible beer.
The next spot,
So, do the beignets appeal to you? They are basically like a simple square donut. As they said, they're dense in a very pleasant way, especially at Café du Monde. And the donut itself is not too sweet, as he said. If I remember correctly, they're not all that hard to make. I mean, outside of the fact you need to deep fry them, but yeah, they're not that hard to make. So let me just check beignet. Wait, how do I spell that? Wait, no. Oh, that's Café Gourd is Café du Monde. I can't spell beignet. So I'll just do Café du Monde. Alright, I just do here, and then I just clear that out, and then I can find it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's simple, but I'll play the others just in case there's other stuff first. Yeah, they're not that hard. You just take the donut and then you coat it, or that donut with coated and powdered sugar.
Brennan's, another New Orleans institution.
It's a beautiful building.
Absolutely stunning, isn't it?
I mean, it's very historic around here. Kind of like Old Orleans.
Really beautiful street. Hello.
How are you? Good to see you.
Lovely
Welcome
to meet you. I'm
Brennan's.
Josh.
How are you, Christian? Nice to see you.
Nice
Welcome
to meet you,
Brennan's.
Christian.
The piano's playing itself.
I think I've seen some videos of you all before.
Oh, really?
I think it was actually Bucky's. I think you all did something in Buc-ee's, and you're like, what is this nonsense? And then you're like, I should not like any part of this, and it's delicious. Yes.
I'm glad you've seen that
Welcome to
video.
Brennan's, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Wow, look at this. Thank you so
thank you,
much.
Christian.
Certainly, our pleasure.
So Christian, I've heard there's one thing we really need to try, especially.
Bananas Foster, it was created here. I'm going to cook it for you.
Fantastic. Oh, wow, what, right here?
So we start with just a dash of butter and a sprinkle of brown sugar and a whisper of cinnamon in the pan. And I know you two are very healthy eaters. You do nothing but eat vegetables and drink lots of
sounds
water.
like us.
So when this was created, one of the ideas was to flambe table side. And so the question was, should we flambe with banana liqueur or rum? And Ella Brennan famously said, hell, it's New Orleans, let's use both.
Have you smelled that? Have you smelled that? It smells incredible.
smell the
That
brown
smells
sugar?
so good.
We welcome about 250,000 people a year to come to Brennan's and order an entree, and about 200,000 of them order Bananas Foster.
400,000 bananas a year.
Yeah.
Whoa! It's so theatrical.
That one's huge. I love it.
It's like the Cirque du Soleil of desserts.
This looks good.
Oh my gosh.
You have the cold of the ice cream here, you have the hot sauce, you have the texture of the banana.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Also, by hot sauce, he means the warm sauce, not like he's pouring, like, you know, spicy sauce on there. Just felt like I needed to specify.
So Bananas Foster from where it was created, gentlemen.
Thank you so much,
Fantastic.
Christian.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Wow.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
so cool. Cheers, mate.
Bananas Foster.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. Oh. Oh, the warm banana. Caramelized with so much flavor. It's literally, it's like a warm hug.
I'm actually speechless.
And in case that wasn't enough to sugar for you, want to make sure you have plenty of sugar in your diet.
Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of candy
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Similar to this morning, like ingredients you've had your whole life, but prepared again in a way that it just elevates it.
It looks so easy. I feel like I could make that at home. Obviously with a fire extinguisher close by.
Luke, I can see on your face, you're like, how the hell? I mean, that's just a banana split with a little bit of fancy
You've got to.
alcohol. Yeah, something about the way the bananas are
Get some sauce. Get lots of sauce.
It absorbs the flavor, and the bananas are perfectly caramelized. They are. Oh. Mate, the banana, the texture.
Wow. Like,
it is beautiful. It's like, it feels like it's perfected.
Do the two of you actually like bananas? Just making sure. Because, you know, if you don't like banana, I might as well. Okay, just making sure. Because some people I've met go like, I hate bananas. This dessert does not interest me at all. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to imagine certain desserts. Like, you know, it's a banana cooked with a special liqueur in like a caramel that they make using, you know, the brown sugar and all that other stuff. They literally make it tableside in front of you, and then they assemble it in front of you so it's as fresh as possibly can be. But yeah.
grown-up banana split, isn't it?
It is. It is. Grown up, like, to perfection. Like you couldn't improve on that.
Can't be that good.
It looks like just banana and ice cream. It really does look like banana and ice cream, but you see what I mean? The flavor just keeps coming.
I'm kind of amazed that this place serves anything but this.
Yeah.
You could start a restaurant just doing this.
This, by the way, just a taste of childhood.
Well, the thing is, I am a little traumatized. The last time we had cotton candy, it was the toe of Satan. And
I forgot about that. Then we made the spicy.
Oh yes. In the event you don't know, the toe of Satan is extremely, extremely spicy cotton candy. So, well, I think it's a sauce that they use, and then they used it to make cotton candy. and then you basically see
It's cotton candy in the world.
Genuinely one of the few times while filming that I was afraid for my life.
Yeah. Well, none of us could breathe.
But our throats swole up because it was so spicy.
The entire crew, everyone was just started coughing their way out of the building.
Yeah. I'm reframing that trauma.
Yeah.
So I always say the tipsy cake that we had from Heston over lockdown is my favorite dessert of all time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, most of the audience, I think, they're calling it cotton candy because they're in America. They'll call it candy floss when, you know, they're back to, like, you know, back into the UK. And then maybe they'll call it daddy's beard in France. If I remember, that's what the translation of it means, like daddy's beard or something like that. Which, don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's specifically France, but one country calls, like that, the daddy's beard. It's like, you want to, daddy, your beard's so tasty. Like, why you gotta make everything so weird, fool? God damn it. Yes, yummy. Oh, that was, sorry, no. But yeah.
Might tip it.
Wow.
It honestly might.
You're saying that's the best dessert you've ever had?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, I mean, for what it is, you could not improve on that.
Also, I can have another 10.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely shouldn't, but yeah.
You shouldn't. Often with a really, really great dessert, you get to the end and you're like, oh my god.
You feel sick.
Whereas actually,
one of your 5
healthy.
a day. One of your 5 a day.
We basically just had a fruit salad.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
yes,
that?
totally.
Yeah.
You know, that just eat as much as you can. You can have plenty of fruit, right? Just ignore the fact that it has a ton of, like, liquor and, like, brown sugar. Yes, totally yummy. Tasty.
Flambéed with alcohol.
The Fosters or the candy floss?
Oh, come on. It's perfection.
It's really good.
Incredible.
It's unbelievably good.
Ollie said it might be his favourite dessert he's ever had.
Ever.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay. Shake your hand. I'm not going to be able to. You're an upstanding gentleman. I don't care what they say about you. You're good-looking, handsome, and brilliant. My God, it's fantastic.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you so much for having us.
Honestly, it was amazing.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
What a legend. Hospitality.
People here are so nice.
Hospitality.
Seriously.
You saying that's your favourite dessert ever, it's quite a statement because we had some pretty special desserts on this trip.
Bread pudding.
Bread pudding at Lil Dizzy's. Wow.
Gosh.
Visually.
Looks like it's fallen out the back of a van.
Okay. Okay.
My granny used to make a epic bread pudding, actually.
It smells almost Christmassy.
Thing is, I don't want to besmirch my beloved granny's memory. So I should start by saying this can never beat granny's recipe.
Very moist looking.
Yeah, that's
Very
true.
moist. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay, we're testing my family loyalty here.
Looks like it's lacking custard.
Unreal. Mate,
No.
you do not need custard with that.
No need.
Yeah.
These tricky Americans.
What do you mean?
They've only gone and spiced it.
Yeah, they have.
They have.
It's heavily
Why
spiced.
didn't we think of this? Why didn't we think of adding spices to things? It makes them so much better.
It's a big mouthful of bread pudding, but it's soft and moist and juicy and just goes down.
No custard necessary. It's like it's got custard in it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know when like those southern barbecuers like inject the meat with with stuff? I don't know what they're injecting it with. That's been injected with like flipping goodness. Easily the best bread pudding I've ever had. Also the banana.
It probably tastes amazing, though it does look a little sketchy. Not gonna lie. I mean, not this banana pudding. That's
Banana pudding at Blue Oak.
It looks like a stock image that turns up when you search unhealthy food.
Presumably the banana pudding is going to be underneath.
Dig deep. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
What you mean, the fact that somebody at the restaurant and then you have a bunch of British people in the corner literally responding to everything? Or, something else? Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, you mean like the daddy's beard thing and, you know, eating daddy's beard? Oh. Oh, my daddy. I sure do like the flavor of your beard. Sorry. Sorry about that.
I think it's hiding beneath.
Well, you know, I can't stop you if you want
I think
to do
so.
it. but,
There's
you know.
banana, cinnamon, maybe.
Yeah, it was really good. Underneath all the whipped cream, you've got this, the banana pudding with like bits of biscuit and everything in there.
This is
More power
so
to you.
Chunks
wanna
of
do it.
banana. It's perfectly spiced again. Holy crap, that's good.
I don't know what to expect.
Oh, you weren't in Savannah, so you've never had banana pudding before.
Never had banana pudding.
Wow, Luke's first ever taste of banana pudding. But there you go, mate.
Have a bit of biscuit.
It's good. No, there was a little bit in there, I think.
It's like creamy air. It's like almost
Yeah,
like mousse.
yeah, almost. But then like more creamy.
That's delicious.
Wow, so good.
Absolutely delicious.
Really, really good.
Love that. And now to the ones we tried yesterday.
Oh my God.
Trying tomorrow. What?
I should probably make it smaller, like so I don't get copyright claims on this. Now that I think about it, for like reaction stuff. But either way.
Okay.
Gosh, it's like the MCU. I can't keep track.
The Strange film, which made no sense.
Okay.
I'm just time.
Thanks.
I'm doing the time
Thanks.
thing back.
You're hoping Aiden puts in some
Yeah.
little sparkler bits. Okay.
Thanks, Aiden.
Okay.
Please put them in, because otherwise I'll look like a complete psycho.
Man, this whole trip has been so special. Really, really cool. Such a privilege to get to experience a little bit of the local culture through the local cuisine, meet all the people we've met with such a warm welcome in this place. I really recommend if you're anywhere near New Orleans, come by, visit some of the restaurants we went to. All worth the trip.
Well, on that note,
See you jolly soon.
see you jolly soon, guys.
Cheers, mate. Okay.
I'm trying to think about other desserts that they might have seen. I can bring up. Well, I guess I'll show you the. Let's see. What is that? The big dining hall. The dining hall sucks. Well, I'll check that out later. So let's see. Have you ever heard of Baked Alaska? Ah. It is an old-fashioned dessert. It is very rarely made nowadays outside of fine dining establishments and cruise ships. But it is basically, to oversimplify it, a special kind of ice cream cake that you set on fire.
Jen and I got dessert while we were celebrating 3 million on TikTok. We ended up getting the Baked Alaskan. They had all kinds of fancy stuff on the menu. Every time we ordered something, they reset the table with fresh silverware, filled the water every couple minutes, and while we were waiting, we got a cappuccino. I wasn't sure what to expect out of coffee from a steakhouse, but it was quite good, even though it's not their specialty. Finally, the Baked Alaskan arrived. They take a pot full of rum, set it on fire, and then carefully spoon it over top of the entire cake. This toasts the meringue on the outside. I actually ordered this more for the experience than I did the cake itself. Once I found out they light it on fire at your table, I was all about it. Then just before it goes out, they start pouring chocolate over top of it, which helps put out some of the fire. Then they cut it into pieces for you, and if you don't know, the inside of this is ice cream. It's only on fire for about 2 minutes or so. There was a really strong rum flavor in the crust on the bottom, which obviously soaked some of it up. My rating on this cake is that's good.
Wow.
Jen and I got...
I mean, adding chocolate at the end is not normally traditional, but some places do that. Sorry. But yes, normally when you get it, it looks more like, you know, this, or like, I guess I'll showed you.
Why is the Baked Alaska so hard to make? If you ask any pastry chef out there, they will all tell you that the Baked Alaska is a really tricky dessert to make. But why? To make a Baked Alaska, you need a sponge cake first. Mix together flour, sugar, eggs, and butter. Whisk it well. Then slap it in the oven for 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. And then comes the ice cream. Once the cake is cooled down, scoop in your favorite flavor of ice cream and freeze it. Mix egg whites and sugar on the side until it's super stiff to get some meringue. Now get ready, it's gonna get tricky. You need to cover the cake and ice cream with the meringue without melting the ice cream. Cover it well. Make sure no ice cream is showing or it will melt. Now put the whole thing back in the oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees Celsius for just a few minutes until the meringue is golden. Remember,
Yes,
if it's too long, the ice cream is gone.
It is ultra stiff.
And boom, out comes the Baked Alaska, a dessert that's hot and cold at the same time. The Baked Alaska, the only dessert that gives you a weather forecast with every bite. Why?
But yeah, as you can see, it's ultra hard and it's ultra annoying. Yeah, as well. Yeah, you need to be careful with that when you're saying that. But yeah, contact. Yeah, out of contact. What could possibly going wrong with, like, you know, being in contact with the ultra stiff peaks? Yes, indeed. But yeah, this is a very hard to make dessert, but it's really, really good when it's made right. Like, you know, just a nice cake on the bottom. The meringue is nice and like toasted and, you know, good. And then of course, you know, the ice cream inside is like ultra cool, and it's a nice difference between, like, you know, as I said, the warm outside and the cool inside, and just, yeah. Too bad when the only places that really bother doing this type of dessert anymore are either ultra old-fashioned restaurants or high-end, stupidly expensive places where it's just like, oh my god, pay $30 for this little tiny cake. I'm lucky because where I grew up, there was, well, I mean, I was lucky. Where I grew up, there was a place called, like, well, I don't want to dox myself, but there was an old-fashioned, like, European restaurant which did make Baked Alaska. They brought it to the table and they'd, you know, do the whole process. They'd bring it, they'd literally pour the liquor on fire, pour it on top so that the flames coat the whole thing. The meringue is sort of like marshmallow, except it's softer and a little more airy. And so, as I said, it gets like all nice and toasted and dark on the outside. And the nice thing is, because they had been doing this thing for like years, like longer than I'd been alive, if I remember correctly. Like, they never burned it. It was always pleasantly just nice and toasted on the outside. But this is one of those desserts which would drive you insane trying to make it, because it's so temperamental and you need to do everything so quickly. And if you do it wrong, then, you know, you've wasted a bunch of time, and then you've got a bunch of melted ice cream on a bowl. But yeah, it's one of the classic, really good American desserts. If you ever get the chance and it's not ultra expensive, I recommend you try it. And actually, I need to start getting used to going to bed earlier too, and I'm pretty sure that it's you know, I'm going to end the stream now because I need to go to bed myself, and the two of you should already be in bed. Plus, I don't know what to cover next, and I don't want to spend too much time, but, you know, we all need to get... Yes, person, you are technically in bed, but go to sleep. Samu. But who is Samu? I'll put it this way. I love to produce content, and I like you guys watching me do it. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to start developing bad sleeping habits. Or, well, correction. I don't want persons' habits to get worse. And I don't want to get Moon in trouble with their parents. And at the same time, it's not like I want to go to bed either. My body's like, but I'm awake. I want to stay awake. But at the same time, I don't know what I should cover or talk about. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you did say you'd try going to bed at that earlier time because it's better for you. You're right. I need to do it, so you know what, person? Let's stick to what we actually said we'd do. Well, no, you see, she said she'd try, so I'm going to actually, you know, I'm going to try myself. As much as I want to stay up and stream more, I really should sleep so I can, you know, if I go to sleep now, I can start streaming earlier tomorrow, and that means that I can maybe get more stuff done and not stream at an hour which is really late for both of you. And then both of you also get proper amounts of rest, which is good for both of you. So yeah, I guess I will end it. Well, thanks for coming even though it's so late. Go to sleep. You're in. Yes, I can't say go to bed because you're both already in bed, but go to sleep. I'll find out a way and tell your parents. That would be terrible actually if I did that. It would be like, hey, it's like all of a sudden your parents get a contact from a 30-year-old, from an over 30-year-old American, and like, hey, your daughters aren't actually going to sleep at night. And it's just like, why? Yeah, well, all the better to actually go to bed at the proper time. But either way, generic content creator, goodbye. See the two of you tomorrow. Actually sleep. Don't just go watching videos after this. Bye.